Live.
Right.
Rolling. Okay, so I sent you those questions. I don't know if you looked over them or not, but
Yes, I briefly looked over them.
okay. And some people I've just been throwing random questions at them as I see fit as the conversation goes, but don't be nervous.
All right.
Okay, so tell the people who you are.
I am. Oh, am I looking at you or am I looking at the camera?
Either one. Probably me.
Okay. So I don't stare down the camera.
Stare down at everybody.
Okay. I'm Anastasia Lowe. I'm one of the members of SDA team. SDA's team.
Okay, and you were on the team last year, right?
Yes, I was on the team last year, yeah.
Okay, and you train out of CrossFit Nevo, correct?
Yes.
In Houston?
Yep.
All right.
Do you want me to say that by camera? Or?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Okay. Let me just.
This is Amy's first interview, everybody. We're going to take two.
Take two this. Okay. I'm Anastasia. I'm on SDA. I was on SDA last year as well, so I'm returning to my second year. But I train out of CrossFit Nevo in Cypress, Texas.
Okay, cool. How long have you been doing CrossFit?
Actually, this month it'll be 9 years.
Wow, fun.
Yeah. Getting close to that double digit, that 10-year mark.
How did you get started in CrossFit?
It's actually funny because me and Alex have a cross path kind of with it. I went to school in Belton, Texas. I went to UMHB, University of Mary Hardin Baylor. And in my last semester, I needed an exercise credit. And I put it off. And the only thing that fit my class schedule was a CrossFit class. And they basically contracted out the exercise credit to a CrossFit gym in Belton, CrossFit Sprague, which is where Alex got his start as well. And Alex is from Belton, so it's where he goes when he's home. And so I thought CrossFit was really stupid. All I'd seen at that point was all the fail videos on YouTube. I was like, CrossFit's so dumb. It's so stupid. This is dumb. And so I really didn't want to do it. I distinctly remember calling my mom the night before my first class and thinking and telling her about how dumb it was that I had to do this CrossFit class. And my first workout was Helen, and it destroyed me.
My God.
It destroyed me. I was running.
And you chose to come back.
I know. I was running 3.5 minute 400s. It was.
Don't hate on the times. Okay.
I did ring rows. I did 3.5 minute 400s. I don't know how long it took me. It took me forever. I was the last person in the class to finish it, and. But there was just something about it that I really, really enjoyed. And so then when I moved back to Houston after I graduated, the first thing I did was find a CrossFit gym, which happens to be the one that I'm still at, CrossFit Nevo. So yeah, it went from a hate to a love relationship really quickly.
I had a similar experience my first workout. I was the last one done. It was thrusters and burpees and running.
Oh.
Literally the worst first day
Awful.
I think I could ask for. And I was also the last one done, but it lit a fire in me a little bit because I was like, okay, why am I so bad at this? I need to get better at this. Do you feel like that was kind of where you were at a little bit?
I think at the time I was going to the gym and just doing workouts I saw on bodybuilding.com. It was just random stuff. And so I think it was just this realization of how bad I was at something. It was crazy to me that I struggled that hard with something that on paper was so simple. And so I think that is what really lured me in, was just how bad I did. I was like, I can't be this bad at something so basic, but I was.
But look at you now.
Yeah.
So how many years have you gone to semis?
This is my second year. Yeah.
Okay. How long have you been competitive in CrossFit?
It took about 2 years. I did CrossFit about 2 years, just going twice a week. That was all I could afford at the time. I got my L1 and I started just kind of working out at our gym more. And then about 2 years in, I decided I wanted to compete more. I feel like I really got serious about it in the past 7 years. But even so, I feel like it took a solid 3 or 4 years of fumbling around trying to compete and doing everything wrong before I figured out how to be a competitor in a sense.
Yeah. And this is not on your questions, but I'm curious. How did you get on the team last year? How did you meet Logan and Sam and that whole backstory? I'm curious.
I got a message from Sam on Instagram I don't know if I've ever told her this, but I got a message from her, and they said that they wanted me to come out to College Station and some other stuff. I thought it was so weird. I was like...
Oh, was it that one Sunday that they had like a million people there?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
But they had tried to get me to come up before that, and I was like, yeah, they were like, we've seen you perform at TFX, and at that point, I think I had only done TFX up to intermediate. So they messaged me like kind of early, and then I did TFX and I won TFX and RX, and they messaged me again afterwards. But she had messaged me a couple different times. I just thought I didn't believe them, truthfully. I was like, I'm not that good.
I saw your potential.
Yeah, they saw potential, but I could not believe that that's what they were seeing. I was like, this is some weird scam. This is so weird. Like, I couldn't figure out what they wanted. And then when they had this, like, they had like a competitor camp kind of thing, and she messaged me about it, I don't know, like 3 or 4 times, like, come out, come out, come out. And I was so close to not coming because I just thought it was, again, I was like, I don't know why they want me out here. And so I ended up going. And that's how I just got hooked in, basically. They were like, we want to do a team. We want you to be on the team and all this stuff. And I was really shocked by it. But it was Sam being absolutely relentless in messaging me that got me here.
Hey, it worked, right?
Yeah.
Gotta be persistent. That's fun. Okay, that was just like a random question that I had. Okay. How are you feeling going into the competition this weekend? You can be as honest or as not honest as you want to be.
I feel, right now I don't feel especially nervous. I know last year I felt like super, super nervous. This year I don't feel as nervous. So that's kind of nice. But it's like once it hits, once you're about to go out on the floor, the butterflies hit, and then everything kind of gets to be a lot and kind of overwhelming. Mm-hmm. But I don't feel super nervous right now. It's more just I feel like I really want to get out there and get our first event done so we can get in like a kind of like a flow. Because for right now, especially with having a last minute sub, it's like we don't know how this is going to work. We had rehearsed this so many times with Mitch, so doing it now with Alex is like just going to be different. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those things that whenever you do team or partner stuff, a lot of it comes down to cadence and understanding the person that you're with. I think a lot of people can work really well on teams as long as you have a good cadence, as long as you have a good understanding of the person next to you. So it's a little nerve-wracking because I don't have any scope of Alex right now. But I feel like once the first event is done, it can help kind of let that like exhale happen and move on. So a little nervous, definitely excited. But yeah.
Do you think were you more nervous last year because it was your first year?
Oh,
and so
yeah.
This year you're just kind of like, okay, I know what I'm doing. Okay.
Oh yeah. I was so nervous last year. I remember like running out on the competition floor and being like, I don't know if I can do this because I can't breathe right now. Like the event hadn't even started. But the same thing kind of happened last year after the first event. It kind of becomes this exhale moment that you can kind of let go. Mm-hmm. So I know it's coming. You just got to get there.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Okay. I do want to go into like how the dynamic of the team has changed. And I've been kind of asking everybody this in a different way. And so you and Logan were on a team last year together. Mm-hmm. And then Mitch and Alex and Tori were all on the same team last year. And now y'all are like combining the teams. Yeah. But you are the only one that hasn't worked out with Alex. Mm-hmm. And they all have, but y'all have all worked out together like at TFX and stuff. And so, and Alex is your partner for one of the workouts, right? For the row workout. So I guess just like with the teams coming together and now that there's a last minute sub, kind of like what is your thought process going through maybe like a different, like maybe specific workouts individually, mm-hmm. like the game plan for the one you're partners with Alex with, or like just your general sense of like, okay, how is this going to work? Or is there any like nervousness behind that? Or that was just a lot of words that I just threw at you. Okay. So just answer whatever you answer any of those questions that I just asked.
I think the some of it is just mentioned was our cadence person. So he called a lot of our work on the worms. And that's when you do team stuff, again, especially with worm stuff, so much of it comes down to tempo and cadence and those rep counts. So we're very used to that. So we're even rehearsing our final event, which has worm clean and jerks. And now I'm the person calling the worm clean and jerks. I've never done that before. And truthfully, like one of the things I do on team is I don't count anything, like literally anything. So when I'm doing stuff, Mitch was always in front of me and I would just go off of, I go until he says to stop essentially. So now being like, oh, I have to count. I have to actually like, I can't just disengage completely and just go. Is definitely like a huge dynamic change. That I think alone is probably, to me, the hardest dynamic change is not having that like core cadence person that keeps you on track. So that's probably the most like different thing. Even last year, like it was the same thing. Manny called a lot of our cadence and stuff like that. So I've always been used to like, I never have to count. Mm-hmm. And now all of a sudden on all these things, I'm like, you gotta keep count. You gotta make sure you're on the right rep.
Why are you the one that's counting? Is it just based on placement or what?
Alex, I guess, isn't as confident in yelling it. I'm in the front. And so it's easier to have someone that's usually on one extreme, like towards the front, ideally, because they can also see the judge better. So that if you get off on a no rep, the person that's in front sees the judge miscount it, and they can keep that cadence of whatever the rep is. Whereas the person that's in the back might miss, like whether or not the judge counted it or whatever. So it can just throw things off. So that's probably the bigger thing. Me and Alex have a workout together. We're like, some of it is I just have to trust Alex, and I'm fully ready to do that. But
it's hard though because you haven't worked out with him.
It's very hard because I've never worked out with him, and I'm like, what if it doesn't happen? And then all of a sudden I have to do a lot more stuff.
Darn, what if I have to work out?
I have to work really hard too. No.
Dang it. What am I doing here?
But it's just, I'm not a good squatter. I'm freaking tall and long. So I'm not a good squatter already. We're already in this workout has a lot of squatting on my part. So I'm like a little nervous about that already. And then on top of that, if our plan doesn't execute, then what if, this like snowball kind of effect happens and I'm rowing and I'm squatting and I'm not able to maintain both. And so there's a lot of stuff like that. But it's just, some of it's just being able to trust that Alex is here for a reason, and I'm very willing to trust his ability. It's just a little nerve-wracking at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I just want to make you feel better. Alex, Logan, you're totally in my shot. These are all of these are going to be so on him. Alex is so fit, and he's ready to go.
Okay.
Yeah. So just want to make you feel better on that. He's I told him this in his interview. He's the type of person I've never seen someone like become someone else as much as Alex does.
Yeah.
Because like even golden retriever energy, he becomes this like scary, like fire in his eyes. I've never seen anyone like black out like Alex does. He will sell his soul.
That's the greatest news ever.
Yeah, no, he becomes a completely different person. I've never seen it before. So yeah, don't worry. So should be good. Okay, next question. What are you most excited about this weekend?
Truthfully, the final event I'm really excited about because I kind of pride myself on as much as possible hammering weaknesses. So when I get something that's from the past year that happens in like an event and I fall apart, then I'm like, that's the thing I really want to work on this year and see improvement on. And muscle ups have always been like a massive weakness for me. It took me a good 7 of my CrossFit years to get my muscle ups, and that's not exaggeration.
No shame.
It took me a very long time. And so now having a workout where I feel like muscle ups are an afterthought is like a really cool revelation for me. And then burpees have also been a struggle point for me, so I've done a lot of them this season. So having a workout that combines burpees and muscle ups, and it's very fast paced, and it's actually kind of grippy, which is another just kind of weakness of mine. It's like this nice feeling of knowing that it's going to hurt, but in past years, I would be questioning, like, am I going to be able to make it up to the bar? Am I going to be able to do the muscle up? And now that's not the question anymore. It's how fast can I do these muscle ups? Like, how fast can I do these burpees? So it's like a little like antsy kind of thing of like it's the last event of the weekend, so I don't get to feel that until the very end. But it's what I'm most excited about because I think it gives me a good like kind of game plan for like how much has this improved and how much more do I have to improve this?
Oh yeah, and that's what CrossFit is.
Yeah.
Like when you start, I mean, that's what the Open's all about,
Yeah.
right? So that's cool that you can kind of see that on this level.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Okay, last question. What is something, or is there something that you tell yourself or have to remind yourself before going into a big competition?
Probably it's like not to downplay it, but I try to tell myself like I'm just competing, and it's one of those things where very early in my career, I think my identity was very, very much wrapped up in CrossFit and how well I did and all these other things. And that's not to say I don't have moments now where I'm like, oh my gosh, I sucked at this workout so bad. I suck. Why do I even do this? Like, I still have those moments, but they're definitely kind of like few or far between. But we adopted my son a year ago or not a year ago. We got him a year ago. But we just adopted him in November, and one of the best like outcomes, or like not outcomes, but one of the best perks of having a kid is how much perspective they put on your life. And so knowing that like no matter what happens, when I'm done, I am still a mom, and like my kid still thinks the same thing about me. Like he doesn't care what I do. He doesn't care whether or not I succeed. He doesn't care if I failed this clean or if I, missed something or failed something. Like it doesn't matter to him. And it kind of puts in perspective this thing of like I can be really hard on myself, but in the long game of life, does how well I do here matter for like the rest of my life, for what my family and friends think about me, for the impact I want to make on the world? Like, no, not really. Right. So it's
just
kind
CrossFit.
It's just CrossFit. So it's kind of nice. It takes a little bit of the pressure off, but it helps me like just like realize that like I'm getting to be in this moment that I've worked really, really hard for.
Yeah.
And I should just be able to take it in rather than being like, oh my God, we have to do this. We have to do this so we can win. We have to do this so we can qualify, whatever it is. Like, I think that's like, it's a great, I understand it, but it's also a great way to miss out on the actual moment that you're experiencing. It never feels satisfied with it.
Yeah.
So that's what I try to tell myself, is just like, we're just competing. You're just doing what you've always wanted to do.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, it's good because it's still important to you.
Yeah.
Like, it's still important to the team and how far y'all have come and how hard y'all have worked. But knowing, like, yes, it's still important, but it's not the most important.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Well, that's good. Well, that's all I got for you, Annie. So any last words?
Last words? Oh, yikes.
Anything else you want to say to the people?
Anything else I want to say? Logan, Logan has worked really, really hard on being calm this year. That was one of my critiques of him last year.
Oh my gosh.
Was that he needed to chill out on the competition floor. So we have a deal. We have a pact right now. I'm just going to say it because I don't think it will happen this year, but I'm hoping that it will happen maybe next year. One, if he stays calm. I don't know if that'll happen this year. But two, if we do qualify for the games, he has to wear a Hot Cheeto shirt at the gym, like when he coaches.
Amazing.
So I just want to put that out on film so that he can.
Oh, we're gonna make him wear that shirt regardless.
So that if it comes up, he's got to stick to it. It was made before everything happened. So.
All right, I love it. You heard it here, folks. Keep us accountable. Make sure Logan wears that Hot Cheeto shirt.
Hot Cheeto shirt.
All right, well, that's all I got. Thanks, Annie.
Thank you.